Wow. Patreon stream. Here we go. Smartest live. That's even better. Boom. Hello and good evening. I will be speaking softly tonight since the chillins are in their beds. Alright, I don't want to work on this for too long, but I do want to work on this. So, for those of you who are familiar and have seen the progress on this so far, this is my Lady of Liberty sculpt, and I am currently going through, and I need to start developing further clothing for her. So far all she has is this little top piece, and so we need to give her some more clothing. So that's what we'll do in today's stream, just so that we have a little bit more to look at. And yeah, so I currently have Pure Ref open on my other screen, just a few reference images to be able to see kind of like what it is that's happening with the with the crown, with the clothing. The crown is something that I did kind of in my spare time last week, I think. I don't know, I haven't had a whole lot of spare time recently, so it's been kind of an interesting little while. So here's what I'm going to do. Pull that off to the side. I'm going to get going on this. So let's create something. I am going to start off with topology brush. Let's go to this robes layer. Okay, cool. So this should give me enough to be able to play with. Get rid of that edge there. And essentially I'm just going to keep drawing out for some topology here. What I need to find actually is a good behind the statue image. I can only guess kind of what's happening based on what it is that I'm seeing, which is, you know, there's a decent amount of information in these images. It's just going to be an interesting time trying to get this to work right. And I'm thinking of going in and using some cloth dynamics in this one, just for the sake of, you know, making sure that I'm getting some good draping. And yeah, it's pretty exciting. Let's go in and turn off that tablet. In fact, I might even go in and hide her arm. Let's go back to her body. Oh, let's see, let's do it like this. Keep her legs in there. At least down to a certain point. Let's keep the whole leg. And I don't really need much of anything else. Let's keep the head though. Okay, there we go. So that's what we'll have visible while we're working on it, just so we can have the arms out of the way. It should make everything so much easier. Okay, so let's go ahead, let's take this, and I am going to drag and draw this down here. You know what? Let's do it the other way. Drag and draw this up. One of the things I like to do sometimes is like add in some lazy mouse. Boom. And that helps to give me a little bit smoother of a line. It's not going to matter a whole heck of a lot, but it's, you know, it's still helpful. So you can see that and the way that that kind of connects on through. Get something like that. Get something like that. You know what? I want to get rid of that. And we'll go ahead and pull that down. Something like that. You know what? This one right here needs to go and branch over to the side like that. Take that and try to finish that out. Oops. Got a little bit messy through there, but we'll figure out how to make it work. I might have to just ignore that bit right there, and we'll figure out making that part work here in a little bit. Let's bring in another loop kind of up a little bit further. Let's continue that on back. Pull that through. Now, one of the things I want to figure out through here is that there's not nearly enough topology through here. So it might be one of those things that I actually, you know what? I think I will. I'll go ahead and I'll say split unmasked, turn that off. I'm just going to duplicate this out. And we'll start off. We'll just hit a mask. Kind of mask the areas that we want to have as this bigger, baggier cloth. And we're just going to do some sculpting and high resolution stuff and then Z-remesh it to be able to get the lower resolution stuff. So should hopefully be a little bit better. Let's say poly groups. We'll come over here and we'll say polish. Group masked. You can see like it goes through and it gives you a nice clean border. Let's say let's not use that one. Let's say group loops. I think that'll be better. Now let's check that out and we'll say delete hidden. Okay, now the big thing that I want for this piece is, well, one, let's start off by, let's do this. And we will say deformation, we'll say inflate. Kind of get this so that it's covering the clothing underneath it at least a little bit. Yeah, we want to try to make sure that things are kind of working a little bit. just going to try to like smooth out the transition between these two pieces. It should hopefully help get a decent bit of topology through here. Probably won't be amazing, but it'll at least be enough for it to be, you know, worth using. So let's see, we're going to go through and just kind of like sculpt out some of these folds. And the big thing that I'm really wanting and really trying to look for with this particular piece is getting something that's fairly convincing so far as folds go. We'll use some dynamics and some cloth brush stuff here before too long, but I just really kind of want to get things started. Okay, let's do that. Let's say geometry, Z-remesher. Let's check this out. You see, so far it targets at 10. I don't want it to be at 10. I want it to be maybe at 1 or this numlock. A nasty little loop right there. Let's try to fix that some. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna open up this dynamics tab so we can see it. And I want to start to work with my cloth brushes. I'll say cloth pull. Where's the cloth pull? There it is. So you see, as I pull on it, it's going to try to retain its form and its shape. And let's make sure, let's get collision volume. Okay, that's a little bit better. The volume's a little bit too big though. So what we're gonna do, let's take this down to like 0.2. That's better. A little bit too much stretch there, so let's see if we can get a little bit less stretch. Let's get our firmness, let's bump it up to 3. That's still like super strong. Take our intensity down some. There we go. Okay, so here's it's starting. Now there's a lot that we got to do to make sure that this is sufficient. I definitely want it to feel like it's big and baggy, like with the real Statue of Liberty. Now her clothing fits and hangs off of her, drapes off of her. So I'm going to say, let's go ahead and say boom, like that. Let's see. I don't like that. Just going to kind of bring this down, just use my move brush. A little bit simpler sometimes. Just use whatever works best. You know what? I'm starting to wonder if Bob Ross spoke softly because of kids. Like, he was trying to stay quiet so that he didn't wake his children and they were sleeping in the other room. That's an interesting theory. thoughts? Happy trees. Okay, this right here, that's kind of... The sleeves on the Statue of Liberty are definitely like much heavier than this, so it's something that I'm going to have to go through and really play with in order to get it to be just right. Yeah, we'll see. With this, what we gotta do, I'm just going to kind of pull it down more or less into place. And there are going to have to be different layers of this. Right now, I don't have kind of these lower layers that I'm wanting to be able to add in to make it feel like the flowy, long piece. And in fact, I think I'm possibly like treating it too much like the wrong piece of clothing. Let's see if we can get something good here. Let us open up Statue of Liberty. Sounds like somebody's shooting off fireworks out there somewhere. Drives me nuts. I'm not a big fireworks fan. Have you watched the Bob Ross documentary? I haven't yet. Lots of money and betrayal, huh? Let's see, let's copy image. And then I'll paste it over onto my PureRef. I love that. That's so cool. It's so big. Look at that. There's a crane right there. So big. I'm trying to see different angles of it. It's like nobody wants to... Somebody climbed up. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out that documentary though. Oh, there we go. Nice big copy. This is gonna make my... Here, I'll bring it over here so you guys can see. It's gonna make my workspace bigger, I think. Yeah, well it did. It wasn't as big as I thought it was gonna be, but whatever. Dude, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Yeah, it's been a while since I've streamed. I figured I'd jump on. Yeah, I don't stream as often anymore. I do, however, stream for the Pixelogic, channel, the ZRush Live, and that goes well. That was pretty good. I like that. But yeah, I've just been trying to keep it sane. Lots going on. about you? How are you doing? Welcome back. Thank you so much. Every time I stream at Pixelogic, you're at work. Oh man. Yeah, I totally know how that goes. I have that happen to me all the time. Whenever there's somebody I want to watch stream, I it's like without a doubt it's while I'm working or while I can't watch, you know. Okay, that's a really good behind image, so I'll probably refer to that one regularly. Oh, that's kind of cool. Totally doctored, but cool. That might be helpful. Okay, drop that in there. Okay, so now I've got a healthy little library in here. I have more, I think, on my iPad. Because I was looking it up and trying to, see stuff for sketching over and whatnot in Procreate. Oh, hold on. I try to go through and mute the microphone whenever I have to cough or sneeze. That way I don't have to worry about like piercing your eardrums with the cacophony of or chew. Yeah, this is good. This is really, really good. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay, so since I have all of that there, what I want to do is I'm going to possibly let's do some of this. This outer piece will actually need to be. Let's see if we can kind of assess what's going on here. So we can see that there is like the end of the drapery here, and it's going up to the shoulder. Okay, so we know that much. If we come over here, we can see that it's coming up and over, and it's kind of tying in right here. So it feels like it's kind of, I guess being knotted here and then draping over. I'm trying to figure out, so let's see if we can figure out exactly what it is that's happening. Where's that, the little picture from right here? Okay, so it looks like there's some sort of tie right here. Okay. Okay, let's see what we can do with this. Okay, because they're like it's a lot higher detail than what I'm doing, and so I need to change that. That's something that I think I'll have to absolutely change in this. Yeah, let's go through. Let's say modify topology, close holes, and actually what I think I'll do is I'll kind of just extrude that out. In fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll extrude that out, extend it a little bit, and then I'll extend it out again. And let's say delete hidden. And Dynamesh. That's way too dense. I'm going to take that all the way down. Okay. So now a lot of what I want to do with this is going to stem very heavily from the fact that I want to keep it really loose. Let's go into our clay brush and kind of start to form out the way that these wrinkles and folds are going to follow her body. Okay, so we got something like that. Is this meant to be a 3D printed statue? You're still working on the character and story pieces. I thought I remember you putting something together from months ago. It could go for the short dress. I'll have to think about it. It's one of those things that I've thought about making it more pin-up style, but I more want the power than the allure, you know. So it's one of those things that yeah, it's one of those things. One of those things I'm trying to kind of work around, play with. We'll just see kind of how it all goes. Because yeah, and you know, there are examples of characters that do have like a lot of power, but still have like I'll call it sex appeal. You know, like characters like Sailor Moon or so much sculpting. So much to sculpt, so much sculpting, so little time. Yeah, that's like the big thing is trying to balance out kind of what the main message is that you want to put across with the characters. And for me, I think this one in particular will have a lot to do with like dignity and dignity and power. So yeah, there'll be a lot to do to make this so that she works really well, but lots of folds. So one of the things you want to think about with folds is you want to think about like what kind of cloth you're trying to sculpt. And because of the Statue of Liberty, like her cloth feels like it's, you know, her drapery, it all feels very very thin. You know, it feels very like a very thin fabric. So I'm trying to be very, you know, give myself some good, like a good number of folds. Are you guys going to enter the ZBrush Summit Sculpt Off? Have you guys signed up for that? Are you doing that? I am so excited. I always love the Sculpt Off, and I'm so grateful that it's open entry, you know, and open to, you know, open to the public, open to anybody who wants to be able to compete. Such a cool opportunity. I personally love competitive sculpting. I feel like it's one of those things that's helpful to me in my art journey, you know, being able to learn, being able to grow, being able to you know, figure out something cool under pressure. because a lot of, especially like right now what my job does, there's a lot of pressure, and I need to be able to get things done fairly quickly, and a lot of times while people are watching, and I have to be sensitive to people's time, and it's neat. It's neat, and so it's been a helpful series of events for me. And one of the funny things to me is that the theme this year for the Sculpt Off is reimagining classic characters. So it's like I'm here sculpting the Statue of Liberty. She's iconic. She's it's just kind of funny how the thing that I started doing before the theme was announced. It's like, if only I had thought of this idea after after the theme was announced, then I could have used it for use the idea for the Sculpt Off, but I've already started sharing this one, so I've got to come up with something else that I want to use. Sadly, no. Trying to take care of other things at the moment, and I don't mind waiting until next year. Yeah, Ana Carolina is going to be doing it. She said she had a great idea. I can't wait to see what it is that she comes up with. Yeah, she is awesome. I love AC. She's one of my absolute best friends in the what's it called? In the ZBrush Live realm. We used to stream regularly together, and it was fun. It was so much fun. I miss that. Stroke. Lazy mouse. Turn that up. Okay. I want to start kind of playing with few things through here, since the folder's supposed to be kind of thin. I'll have to figure out kind of how I want that to resolve on the back, but for right now we'll have it kind of end right there, and we'll keep it going. Oops. Those lines are too parallel, so I'm gonna need to kind of dip into this a little bit, break it up some. Let me see. I still have some poly groups there, might as well kind of use it. We'll take this and we'll just kind of bring it down so that it's a little bit tighter in here. I'll have to see if I can post some of those streams that I did with Ana Carolina, with Ashley Adams, with Pablo Munoz. I think that's all that I've streamed with so far, though. I've also done a personal stream with my good friend Mikkel from Netflix, a buddy from work. He's one of my best friends. He's a super super great guy. Yeah, he and I did a buddy stream one time, and it was awesome. One of my favorite things to do when I'm streaming with people is I like to have like a pass the sculpt sort of game where where in essence we work on a sculpt for an hour and then we pass it off, and then the other person works on it for an hour, and then whatever it looks like at the end of that, that's what gets posted. It's so much fun. Yeah, it's so good. Just keep that kind of going, something like that. Folds are infinitely tricky. Okay, something like that. Okay. There we go. It's starting to look a little bit like cloth. Now, one of those things that if you're familiar with it, sometimes works really well. There's the dynamics in the cloth. One of the things that's really tricky for me, and something that I'm trying to figure out in my head, is like, how is this thing even constructed? Like, how is this? Here, maybe I'll leave this on my screen, just so I can see it and you can see it. At least a little bit. I can see it a little bit more than you can because you've got you got my face right here in the way, That happens. Okay, so I'm gonna go through, let's kind of true up some of this shape here. Grab this and just kind of clay it up. Just kind of do like a little bit of like in and out here. Just to be able to kind of build up some of that some of that natural fold-looking form here. One of the things that I will be doing is I want this to feel like it's kind of coming off of her a little bit here, so that it feels like it's rippling in the wind, you know, and she's like charging forward, more power, heightened sense of energy, you know. So yeah, a little bit more kind of coming off over here. Standard brush. Let's get something like that. Ooh, I'm liking that. I am liking that. Oh, dude. Oh, dude. That's good. I like that. That's some good fold right there. Gotta rest. Have a good night, sir. I look forward to seeing your finished Liberty Wonder Woman. I will definitely post it on Instagram at some point. I don't know how long it'll take me to get to that, you know, post-worthy sort of stage, but the hope is to get her done at some point somewhat soon. One of the things that's, yeah, it's because like what prompted me to go through and do this particular character when I started her out was specifically because of the persecution of the Haitians down on the Texas border. That's kind of like I feel very I'm sick of it. I'm just sick and tired of seeing America treat people who are trying to come here for better opportunities and better lives. Yeah, seeing people being treated that way. And so, you know, like that's kind of the idea behind this sculpt. Ooh, that got really messy. This will be a little bit better. So that's why I want her to be more dignified, more more, what's it called? Yeah, less sex appeal, more of just like definitely appeal, but like kind of that idea of pushing the sense of power and power and dignity and integrity and, you know, those sorts of virtues that, you know, that we claim to hold so dear to our hearts here. You know, I feel like the Statue of Liberty is supposed to represent so much more than just being a free country, you know. For sure. For sure, definitely has to be a better way forward and do something for those people. Yeah. Have a good night, my friend. I'll see you next time I see you. In fact, I probably ought to jump out too. I know I haven't been on for very long. But the idea this month, I will be involved with the ZBrush Summit. I'll be streaming for the Sculpt Off next weekend on Saturday. That's extremely exciting to me. I'm so excited. I still have no idea what I'm doing. Although I have some ideas that I'm working through. And then there, I'll be involved in other things at the summit as well that I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about, so I'm not going to. So yeah, there will be that, and that's extremely exciting. And then, yeah, I mean, if any of you are going to be part of the ZBrush Sculpt Off, I can't wait to see what you guys do. Yeah, feel free to send me pictures, send me what you do. The theme for the Sculpt Off, it's a good question, is and yes, the Statue of Liberty was made in France. It was a gift from France to the United States to commemorate the emancipation of slavery. It really isn't ever remembered that way or heralded that way here in the States. As you know, anyone who lives here probably very well knows. But yeah, that's the original meaning behind the Statue of Liberty. Like if you ever look close at her feet, you'll see she has shackles. I don't know if I can show. I don't know if it shows up. It doesn't show up very well here, but there are like these shackles that have been broken at her feet, and she's actually supposed to be the Roman goddess Libertas or something like that, which means freedom. So that's kind of where her name comes from, and what her meaning comes from too. But yeah, the theme for the Sculpt Off is reimagine, and it's supposed to be like you're supposed to go through and reimagine a classic, iconic character, and yeah, make them your own. You make it your own thing, make it something else. And so it's a very, yeah, it's just a very crazy cool, it's a super theme. It is such a cool theme. It's one of those things though that I have so many ideas and I don't know what to use. So we'll have to see kind of what happens. And that'll be a great theme. usually when I hear a theme, I'm able to go through and do like several different iterations of sketches to design what it is that I'm going to do. Not this time. I don't know, since I don't know at all what it is I'm going to do, I really haven't started sketching much. I've started sketching a little bit on a couple of ideas, but I'm still not 100% sold on that idea, so it's really, really tricky for me to invest a ton of time in that particular idea. We'll have to see what happens. Oh man. Okay, so it's starting to look like something there. And here's something that's kind of a nice important thing to remember when you're creating clothing. You don't want to be focused on, in fact, this is a little bit too strong here. You don't want to be focused on creating cloth exactly as you see it. You literally want to make it up. You want to kind of pay attention to the principles of like what folds are being created and think about why they're being created. And then once you've kind of answered that question a little bit, come on. Once you've gone through and answered that question a little bit, that's when you can go ahead and start to really dive into what these folds are actually going to look like. Take this and kind of push it up and in. And then it'll probably diminish it quite a bit here. Let's actually take this and kind of pull it down just a smidgen. So I think that should hopefully help the shape that I'm wanting to see here. Okay, let me see. But yeah, so a couple of the examples that they actually gave for these reimaginings was like, what if Alice in Wonderland was an old woman, or I'm trying to remember what else they had. It seemed like there were like a good 2 or maybe 3 examples of characters that they used or that they had named. Let's go ahead and kind of pull that in just to build that form just a little bit so that I can understand a little bit about what's happening here. Okay. See, that's working a little bit better now. I'm saying a little bit a lot. Oops, not 654, 64. Let's see if we can. Just need to kind of thicken the edge of the cloth a little bit. Give it an impression and give us the impression that it has some volume to it. Let's bring down our smooth intensity so it doesn't totally obliterate our detail work here. I want to keep some of my forms, so we're trying to kind of smooth and not lose the edges that we kind of work to develop. But I do need to smooth this out so that it does feel a bit more smooth. Digging that so much nicer, so much nicer. I think I want to have some folds kind of come down from like right up in here. I think that's where I want everything kind of draping away from, is that main central point, like right up in here. One of the tricky things is that I'm still trying to figure out exactly what is happening through here. See, I mean, I can only see so much, but it's yeah, it's gonna be one of those things that maybe I take some of this right here. Actually, let's go snake hook. Just kind of pull that out. Something like that for now. We can kind of smooth that. The nice thing about standard brush is that it's going to affect both sides nicely, so let me see. I want to get like a really good kind of wraparound right here. So I'm going to have to, I don't know, I'll have to maybe do some drawovers on that on this area to figure out what I want to do with it. One of the things I get a lot of requests for, because I share a lot of Harry Potter memes on Instagram lately. It's not really, like, memes aren't generally my thing, sharing wise anyway. But I love Harry Potter memes, and my poor followers have probably just gotten absolutely sick of Harry Potter memes. But one of the things that I've gotten several requests for is doing Harry Potter art, and I have done some, but it's still all in like the 2D phase and things like that, and I'm still trying to go through and figure out an aesthetic that I like before I go and try to spend all that time making it 3D. So it's fun. It's really fun. Let's go ahead and have it hang off a little bit more like that, and then have the front part more stuck to the body. I'm gonna do something kind of like that. Something like that for now. Okay, so right now what I'm just trying to think of is like the motion of it all, and since the motion and her energy is kind of pushing forward, the air is going to kind of be pulling back on the cloth behind her. I'm still not entirely sold by the way this is looking. It's definitely looking a lot better, but I think what I need to do is figure out how to maybe figure out like what the layers are, and figure out what those shapes are, like the shape, like if they were to be laid out nice and flat, or expanded to as far out as it can expand, what would the shape of that clothing be? And maybe that'll help in kind of trying to decide how to go about this. I do have some other things that I can work on, because there's a lot that needs done with the clothing. It's going to be a while before I actually get this one done and posted for sure. but this is one that I think I want to do well. You know what I mean? It's going to bring that over so that it's snug up against that arm. And then at some point we'll go ahead and we will, I might even have to go through and do like some sort of topology pass on the cloth just for the sake of getting it the way that I need it, you know, getting it to fall nicely, getting it to, I don't even know. Her face is all right, but I do want to do something like this. Just because I feel like, well, I need to work on the forms overall, I think, on these lips. One of the things that I think is happening, let's go ahead and kind of soften that a little bit. One of the things that I feel like is happening is that it's a little bit too much. Make sure that that's all masked. Let's hit Control H to kind of hide that. Yeah, she's just kind of like her muscles and her forms and her face, I think, are still a little underdeveloped, a little under controlled. And so what I'm going to want to do is come in through here and start to control it, you know. Something like this. And one of the things I want to be careful with is that I do want to make sure that her lips stay pretty full. You know, I don't want them to be to lose volume, and I don't want them to feel flat, or like they don't have any flesh to them, you know, those sorts of things. I want them to feel very alive and very feminine. That's a little bit too much right there, though. And kind of shift that little divide in the lip. I'm just gonna pull it over a little bit, and that's gonna help to hopefully make it feel like the lip is kind of being pulled by the facial expression. Something I'm trying to be very careful of is that I don't want it to stretch too much, because that can happen. don't like the way that the nose is looking at the moment. It's like it's too pulled, but there isn't enough of this. Let's kind of smooth this out just a smidge. Well, that face is looking much nicer. Something else that's worth kind of controlling is getting kind of like this. Here, let's grab this this eye group here. We'll kind of pull these things in here. We'll do something up here again, and like, yeah, say maybe this row. And let's go ahead and we'll mask that out. I don't like that. We'll leave it how it is for now. We'll leave it how it is for now. I think that'll be a little bit better. Having that little bit of a crease around the around that grimace, very, very good effect there. It's helping a lot. I'm going to lower my smooth intensity though, so that I don't ruin what I've got going on there. Turn off RGB too. Cool. Yeah, she's looking. The face, the hair, the crown, that all's looking pretty good. The crown's not exactly like it is for the Statue of Liberty. Quite honestly, I'm not sure that I want it to be like the Statue of Liberty exactly. It feels just too chunky. I wanted something that's a little bit more elegant. And I might go through and do something. Right now, there's kind of like this like up and then a swoop out. It's kind of a weird line there. So I wonder if there's a way for me to be able to take this. Oh, print screen, there we go. To take this and somehow make it so that it comes and makes it more of a straight line. Have it so that it comes. Sorry, I'm like drawing with my tablet, and so the connection's kind of funny. or even if it's not like that sort of streamlined, even if it's something as simple as, bringing it so that this comes forward just a little bit more. So there's like the forward, a little bit of a break, and then a slope. I might make the brows a little bit more proud of the face too. Let's try some of this. Just turn on symmetry since the brows are nice and symmetrical. The nose, I want to take the bridge of the nose and kind of pull it back a little bit. And that got really kind of messy. I don't like that. It definitely changes a lot of how she looks and how I feel about her character. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. I do feel like I need to do something. Here, let me see. Take this and we'll just pull that. Oh, I kind of like the way that break happens right there, where it's like a gentle slope down and there's like a peak, and then it kind of slopes down again. You know what? I'm trying to decide now. I haven't saved this whole time. I like that. I like that actually quite a bit. Now I need to just kind of work on this little area in here and let's turn off the mask. We'll kind of pull that down and in a little bit. That's too much. Let's kind of come through here. Let's come in here and just kind of soften this out just a bit. I do want this character to feel a little bit more angled through here, so let's kind of work on getting some more straighter edges through here. That. That's looking much better. Let's soften that out. And then I also have this area that got too smooth. I don't know exactly at what point all of this happened, but you know what? Let's go back, turn off symmetry, and we'll redo that. Turn on symmetry for this part. And hopefully it will serve me as well as I want it to. Turn off symmetry again. Getting too much of a sharp transition through here, so I just gotta clean up. I just gotta come in through here and just kind of just gently. I'm trying to be careful not to lose. Get out of the way. Not to lose the flow or the definition of the flow, those sorts of things. Kind of cool with like the new settings. The Dodgers one, huh? Maybe that's what the fireworks were for. With the new settings on the Apple. On the Apple phone, on the iPhone. Sound like I'm old or something. An Apple phone. It has an apple on it. It doesn't have an eye. It has an apple. You can set it so that you can get notifications from certain individuals or groups or apps or things like that after your do not disturb is on, and it has different types of do not disturb as well, where it's like you have the do not disturb of like when you're sleeping, there's the do not disturb of when you're driving, you know, and then you can also do it while you're working too. So like during the work day, I have it set to turn on now during my work hours so that I don't get interrupted needlessly. You know, if anything's important, they'll leave a message. That looks much cleaner, but it's still a little bit too sharp. Just make sure there isn't any masking turned on here. There we go. That's better. She's looking better. She is looking better. Alright. Yep, I think this is where I've got to leave her for the night. Save that. I do like that change in the nose. I think that that's going to be a wise choice in the long run. I feel like it's more appealing. The Statue of Liberty, her face works well for her, but yeah, I don't feel like in my version that it was necessary to have. Oh, you know what? I know I'm probably going to do this like a billion times. Anybody who knows me. I'm going to try something. Try making it just a little bit closer together with the eyes. Yeah. I'll keep it. I'll keep it. I think that looks pretty good. Alright. Now that I've said I'll leave her where she is for the night 20 times now? Is that about right? But who's keeping track, really? Anyway, I gotta get to bed. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me this evening. It's a lovely evening, and congratulations to all you Dodgers fans, and condolences to anyone who's a Giants fan. C'est la vie. And yeah, we will try to pick up again on this some point soon in the future. And yeah, I will see you next time I see you. Smartest out.